He died inside a cell, far from the land he had sworn to protect. That is the first, and perhaps the most brutal truth about the life of Ravindra Kaushik. He was only 49 years old when he drew his final breath within the cold, unforgiving walls of a Pakistani prison on November 21, 2001. His death was not the result of a sudden illness or an unfortunate accident. It was the slow, grinding conclusion to a life lived entirely in the shadows, a life dedicated to a silent and thankless duty. For nearly 2 decades, he had been a ghost, a name whispered only in the most secret corridors of power, a man who had sacrificed his identity, his family, ultimately his freedom for his country. His story is not one of glorious battles or public accolades, but one of profound and lonely sacrifice. The world knew him by another name, if it knew him at all. In Pakistan, he was Nabi Ahmed Shakir, a man who had built a life married and integrated himself so deeply into the fabric of society that his true allegiance remained hidden for years. But to the Indian intelligence agency he served, the Research and Analysis Wing, he was given a title that spoke of his prowess and courage, the Black Tiger. This name, bestowed upon him by no less than the Prime Minister of India at the time. Ravindra Kaushik was born on April 11, 1952, in Sri Ganganagar, Rajasthan, a border town that subtly shaped his destiny. He grew up in an ordinary Indian family. As a young man, he was charismatic and talented at acting. He excelled in college theater. At a national dramatic meet in Lucknow, his life changed. He played an Indian army officer who refused to divulge secrets to the Chinese military. That performance caught the eye of talent scouts. Scouts were from India's Research and Analysis Wing. They saw more than an actor. They saw patriotism. They saw intelligence. They saw an ability to inhabit a character. He was approached and offered a chance to serve in intelligence. The offer was compelling to a patriotic young man. At 23, he decided to leave his old life. He told his family he'd taken a job in Dubai. In reality, he went to a secret training facility in Delhi. The training was intense and all-encompassing. For 2 grueling years, he lived a new identity. He was prepared for a likely one-way mission into an adversary nation. He underwent circumcision. He was taught Urdu until his accent vanished. He studied the Quran and Islamic theology. He learned prayers and rituals. He studied Pakistani culture and social customs. He learned Pakistan's geography. He learned its political landscape. He was methodically transformed into a Pakistani citizen. This was also psychological conditioning. He was trained to think as Nabi Ahmed Shakir. He was trained to act as Nabi Ahmed Shakir. He was trained to even dream as Nabi Ahmed Shakir. Every part of his personality was reshaped for the role. The process was meant to withstand the strictest scrutiny. In 1975, at the age of 23, Ravindra Kaushik crossed the border into Pakistan. He was no longer an Indian citizen. He was Nabi Ahmed Shakir, a man with a fabricated past and a perilous future. His carefully constructed backstory stated that he was a resident of Islamabad who had completed his early education and was now seeking to further his prospects. The first crucial test of his training was to gain admission to a Pakistani university, a step that would legitimize his identity and provide him with official documentation. He successfully enrolled at Karachi University, where he pursued and completed a Bachelor of Laws degree. This academic achievement was not just a part of his cover, it was a foundational pillar of his new life. Life as Nabi Ahmed Shakir required constant vigilance. Every day was a performance, and the stakes were life and death. He had to be mindful of every word, every gesture, and every acquaintance he made. He successfully navigated the social and academic circles of Karachi, making friends and building a reputation as a bright and unassuming young man. His ability to blend in was remarkable, a testament to the thoroughness of his training and his own natural talent for deception. He was living a lie, but it was a lie he had to embrace so completely that it became his reality. The loneliness of his position was immense. He was surrounded by people, yet entirely alone with his secret. He had no one to confide in. After obtaining his law degree, the next phase of his mission began, infiltrating the Pakistani establishment. With his new qualifications, Nabi Ahmed Shakir applied for and successfully joined the Pakistan Army. He was commissioned and secured a position as a clerk in the Military Accounts Department. This was a masterstroke. It was a seemingly low-level, non-combatant role that would not attract undue attention, yet it provided him with access to a treasure trove of sensitive information. He was inside the system, a trusted employee of the very military he was tasked to spy on. His quiet and diligent demeanor ensured he was seen as a reliable and unremarkable part of the bureaucracy. To further solidify his identity and embed himself deeper into Pakistani society, he made the most personal sacrifice of all. On the guidance of his handlers, he married a local woman named Amanat, the daughter of a tailor in one of the army units. He became a husband and eventually a father. This step cemented his cover, making him appear as a settled family man with deep roots in the community. It also added another layer of complexity and emotional turmoil to his already fraught existence. He was now living a lie not just for his country, but for the wife and child who loved him. A family that would one day have their world shattered by the truth. Section 4. The Black Tiger's Silent War. From his position within the Pakistan Army's Accounts Department, Ravindra Kaushik began his silent war. Between 1979 and 1983, he became one of India's most valuable assets on foreign soil. His access to military documents, troop movements, strategic planning was unparalleled. He meticulously gathered intelligence, transmitting crucial information back to his handlers in India. The reports he sent were not just minor details. They contained sensitive data about Pakistan's military deployments along the border, insights into their operational readiness, and advance warnings of potential aggressions. His work provided Indian authorities with a clear and consistent window. His contributions were so significant that he earned the moniker the Black Tiger from then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, a title that acknowledged his stealth, courage, and effectiveness. This was the highest praise for a man who could never be publicly celebrated. The intelligence he provided was credited with helping India preempt several Pakistani military maneuvers, potentially saving the lives of countless soldiers and civilians. He operated with extreme caution, using covert communication methods to relay his findings. Every piece of information he sent carried immense risk, as a single intercepted message could lead to his immediate exposure and capture. For years, he walked this tightrope, balancing the demands of his mission with the ever-present danger to his own life. The value of the Black Tiger lay in his complete assimilation. He was not an outsider looking in, he was an insider, trusted and accepted by his colleagues. He attended social gatherings, shared meals, and participated in the daily life of the military cantonment, all while his mind was constantly working, observing, and analyzing. He had to remember every detail of his fabricated life, while simultaneously processing and memorizing classified information for his real mission. This mental duality required a level of discipline and control that is almost unimaginable. He was playing a role for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no breaks, no holidays, and no respite from the tension. His achievements were monumental, yet they remained shrouded in the secrecy that defined his life. He received no medals, no promotions in the Indian system that were publicly known, and no recognition beyond the coded messages from his handlers and a symbolic title. His reward was the knowledge that his sacrifices were making a difference, that his lonely and dangerous work was serving the nation he loved. The Black Tiger was a silent guardian, and his roar was heard only in the secret corridors of power. Section 5. The Unraveling of a Perfect Cover. For nearly a decade, Ravindra Kaushik's cover as Nabi Ahmed Shakir was flawless. He had built a life, a career, a family. But the fragile world he had constructed came crashing down in September 1983. The catalyst was not his mistake, but a fatal error by another operative. RAW sent a low-level agent, Inayat Masiha, to make contact. It proved a catastrophic miscalculation. During infiltration, Masiha was apprehended by Pakistani intelligence. Under intense interrogation, he broke. He revealed his mission. He revealed the true identity of the asset, Nabi Ahmed Shakir. With that confession, Kaushik's cover was blown. The name, the Black Tiger, was now known to his enemies. Pakistani counterintelligence moved quickly to verify and locate their target. They began intense surveillance on the unsuspecting clerk in the military accounts department. Kaushik, unaware, kept to his daily routine, walking into a trap. The moment of capture was undramatic and final. He was lured to a meeting under the pretext of an official task. There he was ambushed and arrested. His life as Nabi Ahmed Shakir was over in an instant. Section 6. The Long Silence of a Prison Cell. Following his capture and 2 years of grueling interrogation, Ravindra Kaushik was put on trial. The proceedings were a foregone conclusion. Charged with espionage, he was found guilty. In 1985, he was sentenced to death. The sentence was later commuted to life by Pakistan's Supreme Court. Life imprisonment became a slow, agonizing decay. He would spend the next 16 years behind bars, Sialkot, Kot Lakhpat, Mianwali. Life in prison was brutal and dehumanizing. Poor sanitation, inadequate food, constant threat of violence. He was a high-profile enemy spy, no special treatment. His only connection to the outside world was through secretly written letters. Close-up handwritten letters. In those missives he detailed his torment. He wrote of abandonment by the country he served. He wrote of his declining health. He wrote of despair, wondering if his sacrifice had been in vain. His health deteriorated steadily. The squalid conditions took a severe toll. He developed asthma. He developed heart problems. He eventually contracted pulmonary tuberculosis. The disease thrived in overcrowded, unsanitary prisons. He received little in the way of proper medical care. A forgotten man, a relic of a secret war, left to waste away in a foreign cell. His family in India campaigned tirelessly for his release. They wrote to government officials and pleaded for intervention. Their efforts were met with silence and official denial. India never officially acknowledged him as their agent. On November 21, 2001, after 16 years of suffering, Ravindra Kaushik died. Tuberculosis, heart disease. He died in Central Jail, Mianwali. He was 49 years old. He died alone, thousands of miles from home. He was buried behind the prison. His death was a quiet, tragic end to a life of courage and sacrifice. He had given his youth. He had given his identity. He had given his freedom. He was left to perish in obscurity. The story is a somber testament to the cruelest aspect of espionage. Operatives are treated as expendable assets. Capture can mean being erased from history. His life ended not with a bang, but with a quiet, lonely whimper in a foreign land. A final, tragic testament to a promise kept in the darkest of shadows. A legacy forged in shadow. The legacy of Ravindra Kaushik is complex. A story of immense bravery overshadowed by institutional abandonment and personal tragedy. For many years after his death, his story remained largely unknown to the Indian public, a classified file in the archives of RAW. However, as details of his life and sacrifice began to emerge through his family's efforts and investigative journalism, he slowly transformed from a forgotten prisoner into a celebrated, albeit tragic, national hero. He is now widely regarded as one of India's most successful and courageous spies, a man who penetrated the enemy's defenses more deeply than almost anyone before or since. His title, the Black Tiger, has become synonymous with the ultimate dedication to one's country. His life serves as a powerful and sobering lesson on the nature of intelligence work. It highlights the incredible risks undertaken by deep-cover operatives and the immense psychological fortitude required to live a double life. Kaushik's story forces a reflection on the moral and ethical responsibilities a nation has towards its secret soldiers. While plausible deniability is a cornerstone of espionage, his fate has sparked a debate about where the line should be drawn between strategic necessity and a government's duty of care to its agents. His family never received his body, nor did they receive any official recognition or financial support from the government for many years, a painful addendum to their loss. The story of the Black Tiger has since been immortalized in books and documentaries, and there has been persistent talk of a major motion picture based on his life. These retellings have helped cement his place in the public consciousness, ensuring that his sacrifice is not forgotten. His tale is a compelling narrative of patriotism, deception, and betrayal. Not betrayal by him, but of him. It resonates because it is a profoundly human story set against the impersonal and ruthless backdrop of international geopolitics. In the end, Ravindra Kaushik's life was a paradox. He was a celebrated hero who was never celebrated, a soldier who fought a vital war without a uniform, and a patriot who died as an unacknowledged prisoner. His story does not offer a triumphant conclusion, but instead leaves us with a quiet, lingering sense of sorrow and respect. He lived a lie so that others could live in truth, and he paid the highest possible price for that choice. The Black Tiger may have died in a lonely prison cell, but his legacy of silent courage continues to roar. His life was a testament to a duty performed in the darkest of shadows.